grade 9 student sections A and B. The next video will focus on the gene map, and this is what I mean by the hereditary map, where we can see the locus of genes on chromosomes. The word map is a similar example. On the word map, you can see the map that represents all countries, which are around 190s like that. And you can see the location of every country with respect to each other, as well as rivers, oceans, and mountains. So a typical chromosome is a diagram. This diagram on this left side of the slide, you can see it represents chromosome number 9. And every band represents a specific location of a given gene, and every gene determines a special type of trait or a special type of a disease like the one mentioned here. Chromosome X is one of the sex chromosomes. Females have 2 sex chromosomes, males have 1 sex chromosome X, and this chromosome X is also another chromosome that holds multiple genes from top to bottom, and every single band represents 1 gene. And therefore, as a male, I have 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs of autosomes from 1 to 22, and additional pair X and Y. So in total, I have 24 types of chromosomes. That's why I must have 24 maps. However, ladies, girls, which have 23 pairs of chromosomes, how do they differ from males? Because their chromosomes, which are actually the sex chromosomes, are identical to each other. And when I say identical, I mean they are homologous. So if they are homologous, the 2 sex chromosomes are typical to each other, and therefore, in terms of structure, they look like each other, and therefore they are 1. So if you add them to the 22 pairs, so this makes totally 23. And eventually speaking, females have 23 maps for 23 types of chromosomes, 22 for autosomes and 1 for sex chromosomes. However, males like us have 24 types of maps, 22 types for the 22 autosomes, and 2 more maps, 1 for the X and 1 for the Y chromosome. When we talk about the locus of alleles on a pair of chromosomes, as you all know, we have 23 pairs of chromosomes in the nucleus of each body cell, among which we have the autosomes that carry body traits and the sex chromosomes which carry our traits relevant to sex. Thus, each chromosome in every single pair has 1 origin. One chromosome is said to be maternal, and the other chromosome is said to be paternal. And therefore, the 23 chromosomes, the 46 chromosomes are 23 coming from our mom and 23 that come from our dad. And because our chromosomes exist in pair, like you see here in the adjacent document, therefore, every single gene has actually, what do we call that? The issue is to keep in mind that no matter is the number of your genes, every single gene has 2 origin, one that is maternal and one that is paternal, no matter is the number of these genes on your chromosomes. Another example to be discussed here is actually the example of what do we call melanin is a protein, and this protein is actually abundant in the skin cells, which are in particular known as melanocytes. This is one of the category of skin cells found in your skin, and these melanocytes have the ability to produce the famous so-called protein called melanin. The darker is your skin, the more you have melanin. The brighter is your skin, the less you have melanin. And unfortunately, females like this one, and you may have also males, if they lack this protein called melanin, we end up with the specific case called albinism, which is the case that represents individuals who lack skin pigmentation. They have white hair, white eyelashes, white skin, and they don't have melanin, and unfortunately they cannot resist sunlight, and this is why they are more susceptible to skin infections, and most precisely melanoma or skin cancer. The gene responsible for the production of melanin is found on chromosome number 9. And this gene appears in two alleles, as you see here. You have either two alleles N or maybe N and small a or double A. Allele N represents the normal skin pigmentation. So if you have one N, this implies that this allele produces skin pigmentation, which is melanin. If you have small a, this one is responsible for the absence of skin pigmentation. And because our chromosomes, as I have mentioned, are either paternal or maternal, this is to say that my alleles should be in pairs, two of which are from my mom and dad, two of which are also from my mom and dad, and therefore here one is paternal, the other is maternal, and the same applies for the three cases. The last example I would like to mention here concerning the blood type, gene, and its alleles. We've been always familiar with four basic blood types, which are actually A, B, AB, and O. This is by itself a trait. So whether I have a blood type, مش عم نحكي هون عن blood color, the blood color is red for any individual. We're talking about the blood type, which is by itself a trait. And this trait is represented by a gene located on chromosome number 9, and it has three different alleles. If you have two alleles, A and A, one from your mom or one from your dad, or if you have A and O on pair number 9, this will result in the expression of a protein called protein A. You can see here. What are the terms that we have to keep in mind? Any allele is a new version for the same gene. If the allele is said to be dominant, this is so simply because that allele is expressed, it has the ability to show itself even in the presence of another different allele. So for example, if I have A next to O and my blood type is A, this is to say that allele A has been able to dominate allele O, and that's why allele A is said to be dominant, and it is written with an uppercase letter or capital letter. However, if you are talking about a recessive allele, this is an allele that is expressed in the absence of another dominant allele, and therefore if it is expressed just because it exists in its pure form, when we have, let's suppose, two alleles O and O, and in this sense, this allele, because it is recessive, it should be written with a lowercase letter or a small letter. However, when we are talking right now about codominant alleles, codominant, not only dominant, codominant, it means that we're talking about two alleles which are both expressed at the same time, like the case of blood type AB. Because I have two different alleles, A and B, on pair number 9, that's why my RBCs, as you have seen in the previous slide, both the proteins were present, and thus both alleles are expressed, and this is why my blood type is said to be blood type AB, and this is the single case that represents co-dominant alleles. And therefore, three terms that should be kept in mind: a dominant allele, a recessive allele, and co-dominant allele. I would like to say thank you so much for your cooperation. Stay safe, and hopefully we see you soon, very soon. Have a nice day.